Welcome to Filmwar. Let's cut the shit. This is a movie trivia game show, podcast, whatever. So every second not spent playing movie games is a second wasted. There's only one rule. You may not say the word Goonies aloud at any point, or you risk losing all of your points to date. Tonight we have two teams of contestants. In one corner, team, I'm talking about George and Justin. Thanks for making the name as hard for me to consistently say as possible. George, you have yet to win a tape. Do you think tonight is your night?
I'm really hoping here.
Well, you certainly got the help with Justin in your corner.
That's
Justin, welcome back.
Thank you.
In the other corner, Team Swayze Hearts, Julian Seltzer and Amanda Jane Stern. Julian is the producer / story co-writer, and Amanda is the writer, actor, producer of Perfectly Good Moment, a film now available on Tubi. Tell us about the film.
Yeah, it's a erotic thriller about a couple named David and Ruby. They've been together on and off for 8 years. When they met, Ruby was 19 and David was 34. And after their most recent breakup, Ruby is back with more than a reunion in mind.
The film co-stars Amanda and Stephen Carlyle, who you might have seen in the villainous role of Scar in The Lion King on Broadway. He's played a lot of great villains on stage in Broadway and in the West End.
Stephen and Amanda both do amazing in the film, and I really do urge all of our viewers to check it out. We're going to take a look at the trailer right here.
You're back. Don't you ever leave me again. That was a very silly idea. Let us toast to that night. Do you remember what happened? I spotted you, and I knew then and there you were going to be special to me. What is it you're looking for out of tonight's event?
I don't really know.
I love that trip. My cousin Sophie's wedding. That was when I took you to London. What's on your mind?
Nothing.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
If there's something you're trying to get me to say or admit to, just tell me. I'm not a mind reader. The last few months have been so hard on me. But sometimes you take things too far.
Please.
Please, what? I hate it when you do that. When you take a perfectly good moment and ruin it.
There's something else I need to do.
I was such a mess without you.
You okay? David?
You know how much I love you. You just don't always know when to stop. And that really, really hurts me, darling.
All right, that was the trailer. Make sure you check out the full film on Tubi. So this is Teamwar. Several teams have coalesced will be fighting each other via movie trivia games throughout the rest of our season in a single elimination tournament. Whoever wins our game tonight will not only advance to the next round, but will also have to split a copy of To Die For on VHS cassette. Now, I am choosing To Die For today because your guys' film is a psychosexual thriller, and this is as close to a psychosexual thriller on the Filmwar shelf.
Oh, I would definitely consider To Die For a psychosexual thriller.
Heavy on the psycho, light on the sexual, I would say.
Honestly, okay, when you really get into the weeds of the genre, the psychosexual thrillers, the erotic thrillers, it is so malleable, and the things that get considered, like they call Cruel Intentions an erotic thriller. Is it really? Is it a thriller or is it a drama? 9.5 Weeks gets looped in with the erotic thrillers. Again, heavy on the erotic, very low on the thriller.
That's an erotic drama.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so that's the thing. It's one of those genres that there isn't that clear a definition for. So
I think before internet porn, any movie that just had a little bit of sex scene to it, people were happy to add it to that umbrella to just up its rental rate.
It's something that is sorely lacking from movies these days. And especially now, I don't have to watch films with my parents anymore. Put these sex scenes in. Let me watch them. Let me enjoy them.
Bring sex back into movies. Also, it fully more prudishness aligns with lower media literacy. So the hornier the movie, the smarter the people. Just saying.
This game is called Genre Feud.
This is Genre Feud. I will name 3 films that fall under the same genre, and our teams will take turns guessing which film had the lowest budget, which film had the highest worldwide theatrical income, and which film has the highest average rating according to the users on letterboxd.com. So I'll be asking you 3 questions. Please decide from your team who will be guessing the lowest budget.
Take it, buddy.
I'll go.
All right, George is going to guess lowest budget. How about for Team Swayze Hearts?
Are you better with budgets or am I better with budgets, Joel?
I'll take the budget. Why not?
Okay.
Okay.
Are we adjusting for inflation or no?
No, we do not
Okay.
adjust for inflation. Now, when I think of erotic thrillers, there's only one director that comes to my mind, and that's Brian De Palma. So here are 3 Brian De Palma movies for our first genre feud. From 1980, Dress to Kill. From 1984, Body Double. And from 1981, Blowout. Now, 2 of these are erotic thrillers. I wouldn't consider Blowout an erotic thriller. But okay, let's start with Julian. Which one of these films do you think had the lowest budget?
We watched Body Double pretty recently, and Blowout sticks in my mind. They were both. I feel like these were all pretty well. I feel like he got more money for each one. I think lowest budget, maybe just by he's building up. I'll go with Dress to Kill, 1980.
All right, Julian is saying Dress to Kill on behalf of Team Swayze Hearts. George, what are you saying for Team? No, I'm sorry about.
I'm going to also go with Dress to Kill.
George agreeing with Julian and the other team and saying Dress to Kill had the lowest budget. You guys both get a point. $7 million to make that movie, $10 million to make Body Double, and $18 million to make Blowout. Okay, now we're going to worldwide box office income. Amanda, why don't you start us off? Which one of these 3 films had the highest box office income in the world, not just the United States?
I don't think it's Blowout. I think Body Double.
Okay, Amanda's saying Body Double on behalf of Team Swayze Hearts. Justin, what do you think?
In the interest of separating things, let's go with Dress to Kill.
Justin is saying Dress to Kill. Amanda is saying Body Double. And the answer is Dress to Kill.
Whoa.
First movie made $32 million in 1980. Body Double only made $9 million in 1984. And Blowout made a criminally low $12 million in 1981. Now we're going to highest average rating according to users on letterboxd.com. Everybody's going to get a chance to guess. So let's start with Amanda. Which one of these films had the highest average rating?
Okay, this one I do think is Body Double.
Okay, Amanda's saying Body Double. Julian, what do you say?
So this is for Letterboxd. So I feel like this is keeping in mind more people's reappraisals. I think that time has been really kind to Blowout. I think Blowout has the highest Letterboxd rating.
Okay, Amanda is saying Body Double. Julian is saying Blowout. George, what do you say?
I mean, I'm going to go with, I'll say Blowout also. I'm going to do it.
George is saying Blowout, agreeing with Julian. Justin, what do you say?
I'm going to go with Body Double.
Okay. One person from each team is saying Body Double. One person from each team is saying Blowout. Who gets the points? Julian and George. 4.1 stars for Blowout, 3.8 for Body Double, and 3.6 for Dress to Kill. That's
I
kind
like
of
how
how
we
I see
all
it.
knew it wasn't going to be Dress to Kill.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's an earlier film. It doesn't have as much production value to it, but obviously,
No,
made the
I
most
think
money.
It already won too many rounds.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I also think it's how people have reappraised it in the years
For
since.
sure. Yeah, and him.
How it's aged.
All right, our next genre is virtual reality movies. These are 3 films that depict virtual reality in some capacity. Those films are The 13th Floor from 1999, Virtuosity from 1995, and Strange Days from 1995. One of these films has a lower budget than the 3. Which one is it, Julian?
Oh, I think it's got to be Strange Days with the lowest budget. I'll say my reason why afterwards.
Okay. Julian is saying Strange Days had the lowest budget. George, what do you say?
And I'm not just trying to copy Julian here, but I'm going to go with Strange Days also.
Okay, both teams saying Strange Days had the lowest budget of these 3 films, and no points. $16 million the 13th Floor took to make. Virtuosity took $30 million to make, and Strange Days took $42 million to make. A lot of big names in that one, I assume. A lot of the salaries ate into it. What was your reasoning for choosing it,
I was assuming that a female director wasn't going to get the highest budget.
Okay, now we're going to highest worldwide box office income. Justin, what do you say? Which one of these 3 films had the most income? Have you seen
I'm
any?
going to say Virtuosity. No, I've not.
Okay, and Amanda, what do you say?
Not The 13th Floor, that's for sure.
Okay. One down.
See, who talks about Virtuosity anymore?
Right.
People still talk about Strange Days. but I also feel like wasn't that a notorious flop? So let's go with Virtuosity as well.
Okay, Amanda agreeing with Virtuosity. And the true answer is Virtuosity. $24 million that movie brought in. 13th Floor brought in $19 million. And Strange Days, I
Flop.
talk about criminally low on this show. $8 million is
Yeah, I remember them talking about that on Horror Queers and how it was a notorious box office bomb.
it's such a bummer. It's a tremendous film. Both teams get points for that. Both were able to guess the highest worldwide income. Now we're going to highest average rating according to users on letterboxd.com. Let's start with Justin. Which one of these films has the highest average rating?
Let's say 13th Floor. Why not?
Justin is saying 13th Floor has the highest average rating. George, what do you say?
I mean, if you're saying it got criminally low for the box office, then maybe Strange Days is my choice.
Get that cult love.
Yeah, George going against his team and saying Strange Day has the highest average rating according to users on letterboxd.com. Amanda, what do you say?
I'm also going Strange Days because I think it's had a cultural reappraisal, and Letterboxd is not that old. So
I think all three of these films have felt that in some capacity. They're all a little bit higher than I expect them to be. All right, Julian, last answer. Which one are you saying?
I'm going to break the trend here a little bit, Amanda. I feel like there's kind of two takes on Strange Days. Maybe they average each other out. Whereas I think the average score for like Virtuosity might be more. I think there's less of a variation in people's read on that. So I'm going to go with that.
Okay, Julian is going against his teammate and saying Virtuosity has the highest average rating according to users on letterboxd.com. And the true answer is Strange Days, baby. 3.8 stars on letterboxd.com. 13th Floor had 3.2, Virtuosity 2.7, which is, I consider, it's low to me. It shouldn't be above 3. 13th Floor is another one I love. That one should be above 3.2. So George and Amanda both get points for that. Okay, our last genre for Genre Feud are not a mind reader movies.
oh my god.
These are films where a person pretends to be a psychic. There are 3 films where a person pretends to be a psychic. Nightmare Alley from 2021, Ed Wood from 1994, and The Frighteners from 1996. One of these films has a lower budget than the rest. Which one is it, George?
I'll go with Ed Wood.
George saying Ed Wood had the lowest budget. Julian, what do you say?
I also think Ed Wood, and I love that movie, but I think that's the answer.
Both teams saying Ed Wood had the lowest budget. They both get a point. $18 million to make Ed Wood. $30 million to make The Frighteners. You can see every dollar on screen. And Nightmare Alley took $60 million to make it. You can't see a single dollar of it on screen.
Well, it's got a cast. Those are
It
names.
does, yep. It's all above the line, those bastards. Okay, George and Julian both got points there. Now we're going to highest worldwide box office income. Let's start with Justin. Which one of these films brought in the most money?
I'm gonna say Ed Wood for this one too.
Justin is saying Ed Wood brought in the most money. Amanda, do you agree with him, or are you gonna go with a different one?
I'm going with Ed Wood as well. As I recall, Nightmare Alley did not do super well.
Yeah.
And it had the highest budget, so
Also came out during the pandemic. Both of our teams are saying Ed Wood brought in the most money. No points. Ed Wood only brought in $6 million, tragically. Frighteners brought in $29 million, but Nightmare Alley, even being a pandemic movie, brought in $40 million at the box office. No points.
still a bomb because that's $20 million less than its budget.
Lost at least 60. You can't. That doesn't even account for
Yeah,
marketing.
that's
Okay, now highest average rating on letterboxd.com. Start with George. Which one of these films had the highest average rating according to users on letterboxd.com?
Oh, I'm going to stick with Ed Wood.
Okay, George is saying Ed Wood again. Justin, what do you think?
Let's say Frighteners.
Justin saying Frighteners. Julian, what do you think?
My heart is saying Ed Wood, but part of me is like Nightmare Alley did get Oscar nods, but I mean, I think I have to go with Ed Wood. I just think it's hard not to be really won over by that movie.
Okay, Amanda, you're the last answer. Which one do you think had the highest average rating according to users on letterboxd.com?
I have a question. This section, we all guess. So if we both get it right, does that make it 2 points to our
You
team?
each get a point for it, yeah.
Okay. So then I'm going to split the difference here and go Nightmare Alley, because that way, if that was the answer, then we at least get a point.
Okay. You should have gone with Ed Wood. It was the answer.
Yeah,
4
that's
stars.
what I thought it was.
On Letterboxd.com. The Frighteners had 3.5, which is low, baby. And Nightmare Alley had 3.4 stars, according to users on Letterboxd.com. So George and Julian both got another point for their teams. At the end of Genre Feud, George and Justin's team, know what I mean, has 7 points, and Amanda and Julian's team, Swayze Hearts, has 6. Only 1 point splits the difference. Still many points to be had.
This game is called Stat Check.
This is Stat Check. We'll be discussing an element of a film that has a numeric value. I will set a betting line, and you will guess if the true number is above or below that set number. Each team will give me one united answer, so you guys have to come to a consensus in order to answer. Our first stat check is, how old is Lestat de Lioncourt at the end of Interview with the Vampire from 1994? I'm setting that betting line at 215 years of age. Do you think his true age is older or younger than 215? Let's start with Team Swayze Hearts.
Older.
Yeah, I think he's got.
I think he's old. The movie is set in the 90s, and he's at least from the 1700s, which obviously
he's from 1760s.
Yeah, and the movie is 94, so that is more than 215 years.
I feel like it's got to be the 1700s, and only because we looked up that whole century about last week.
Well, also the styling would imply that. So is he then? 250 doesn't.
But is he
sound
from
that
then,
old.
or was he turned
Right.
before then?
Right.
215 isn't that old.
For a vampire.
I guess,
For a
yeah.
Vampire. Are we going with older, Joel?
Yeah, I'm going older. Do we have to give an actual
No.
number? Or
Just
just above or
older
below?
or
Oh, yeah.
younger.
Yeah, we're going
Older.
above.
All right, Team Swayze Hearts is saying that he's older than 215 years of age. What about Team Know What I'm talking about? Oh, I didn't do that. I'm sorry. I didn't do that good enough. What about Team Know What I'm talking about?
There you go.
There it is.
Justin, have you seen this movie?
I have seen this movie. It's
Okay.
been a very long time.
So
Probably not going to help you.
As with
It's
most
not like
of
they
these-
were like
No,
at
yeah.
birthday parties and things like
well,
that.
sure.
But
As
you
with
s-
most of
okay.
these, I'm probably going to trust your gut over mine.
Okay, so you said at the end of the movie in the question.
Yes, yeah. In the
That's the whole
interview
total
section of the movie.
So his person who, bit him and made him become was really really old.
Yeah.
So it's got to be over.
You haven't seen the movie, but that guy that bit him was older, but had already died before the movie took. I don't know if I could say that.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
age is.
yeah.
Right,
Ace
so,
Ventura
I was
Firewall.
also leaning over. I was
Um,
leaning over as well.
I'm going with over.
Okay. Both of our teams are saying that Lestat the Lioncourt is older than 215 years of age at the end of Interview with the Vampire from 1994. They both get points for it. He was 233 years of age.
Now, to be honest, I
guys.
thought it was a lot more than that. So I'm glad it's.
Right.
I didn't. I thought it was like 250.
No.
Okay, our next stat check. How much was the soundtrack budget for the film Clerks from 1994? I'm setting that budget at $28,000. So how much money did they spend on just the soundtrack for that film for release? Do we think the true number is higher or lower? Team, know what I'm talking about? I'm never going to get that right.
No, you're doing
That's a-
just fine.
Yeah, the important thing is that you try.
Okay.
So I know this whole thing was made as cheap as possible. He's got fantastic music taste, so I feel like he would try to give the soundtrack some solid love, but I don't know, that might be a little high.
Justin, I'm gonna follow your lead there, though. I think if he's gonna spend the money, sure, yeah, but I don't think it's cost that much. I don't know, Justin. I'm gonna follow your lead here. This is tough. Let's go.
I think it's under. I think he paid less than that for the soundtrack budget.
All right.
Okay, I believe I hear a consensus. You guys are saying lower than $28,000 for the soundtrack budget for Clerks.
Yes.
Okay, now Team Swayze Hearts, you guys have made a film where you featured a prominent artist, so you have a little bit of background on this. Do you think that the true number is above or below $28,000?
See, that's also why I'm leaning towards lower. That I think he cut a lot of good deals. There are a lot of different licenses that you could get. Also, I mean, who knows if what we know are the licenses for when it was his first run or afterwards when he had to go back and relicense for worldwide.
This is the official theatrical release. This isn't definitely not a festival run. This is actually, I'm going to release this film in theaters.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. We were actually we were in Red Bank, New Jersey, which is where his
Stomping grounds.
Yeah.
where his secret stash store is. We walked right by it on Saturday.
I know this movie has music, but did he? But here's the.
Soul
I mean,
Coughing
just
has a song in it.
I mean, just for the record, like the average song, if you're just trying to license a normal song now in a movie, like, I mean, a real song, you're not doing less than like $20,000 per song. So to even,
Yeah.
So let's go back. Let's cut that in half. Let's say in the '90s, a real song costs
So it's
minimum
2 songs.
10,000.
So this is 3 songs.
But let's say he really is able to negotiate down
Yeah.
to half. So at this rate, he could probably, if he pulls every trick, he could get probably 5 to 6 real songs, right?
Yeah, but again, I mean that movie. It's a lot of music. It's not we did one.
All right, time's ticking down. I do need an answer.
I think it's lower.
You think it's lower?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 28K is for such an indie. I do think it's lower. I don't think they expected the success, so I don't think they would have charged as much if he was able to cut deals with the musicians themselves and their managers.
They didn't even film during the day. There's no way
Yeah.
they spent that much on
Music.
Okay, both of our teams are saying that the soundtrack budget for Clerks from 1984 is lower than $28,000, and no points. It was $230,000 he spent on the soundtrack for the theatrical release of that film. $28,000 is how much he spent on the production budget.
Holy
Oh
fuck.
my
So
God.
there you go. He's
All right.
famously said for many years he spent a lot more money on the soundtrack budget than the actual production budget. So quite a big difference, almost tenfold.
Holy crap.
No, I don't know math. That is not tenfold. I'm sorry. Okay, so no points on
Sounds
that
good.
one. We have one more stat check to get through, and it's how much money did they win in Vegas in Rain Man in 1988? I'm setting that betting line at $50,000. Do we think they won more than $50,000 or less than $50,000? Let's start with Team Swayze Hearts.
Ooh, I haven't watched this movie since high school. That was like an era for my family. I don't know. It was like on
I'm so
HBO that
sorry.
month. I think we watched it as a family like 4 or 5 times together. I don't know why. I don't know. It was just an era for us, Amanda.
I will have to ask your parents about this next time.
I don't think Shari watched it, just Larry.
Okay, well, I'll ask Larry.
Okay.
You guys are going to call a friend?
No,
Oh,
that's
no,
what
no.
I'm saying. They're in
He-
France.
yeah, what is it? 3 a.m. for him right now or something?
Yeah, they're in France
What
right now.
better reason to be woken up in the middle of the night than to be asked how much money they won in Vegas in Rain Man from 1988?
Julian,
To
what do you
Die
think?
For is on the line, guys.
What do you think, Julian?
My gut says higher, but I could be swayed if you think it's lower, Amanda.
No, I'm gonna go with you. Let's go with higher.
Okay, Team Swayze Hearts is saying it's higher than $50,000. And what does Team No, talk about say?
I mean, I think it's higher. I've only seen that movie a couple
I
times.
also think it's higher. I'm following you on this one. But
George,
yeah,
you didn't watch it like 5
also-
times in 1 month? What?
I mean, I remember the fish stick scene, z plural. That's about all I really got.
There's
I've
Jeopardy.
seen a handful of scenes and been like, "This is not for me."
Or
Right.
the toothpicks. I remember that too.
You know, this movie did very well. I think it
know.
won several Oscars, I believe.
Yeah, there's
it
a
is
lot
higher.
that wins.
$86,000 they won in Vegas. Both teams get points.
We rolled the
So-
dice on that one. Although it's with cards.
No, oh, that was bad.
We love that shit on this show. Keep it up.
It's what
Okay,
I live with.
Yep. At the end of stat check, it's still a same where it was. Each of you guys got 2 points that round, so it's 9-8. Team I'm talking about is winning by 1 point.
Come on, Julian.
This game is called The Imposter.
This is The Imposter. I will name a film and 3 actors. 2 of those actors are in that film, but the third is not. They're the imposter. You will add a point to your team's total if you can tell me which person was not in the film. Everybody will get a chance to answer for this.
Cool.
Our first film is from 2009, Where the Wild Things Are, a personal favorite of mine. Here are 3 names for you. Mark Ruffalo, Steve Buscemi, and Catherine O'Hara. 2 of these actors are actually in Where the Wild Things Are. One of them is not. Who is not, Justin?
Have
you seen it?
I have not. I have it on DVD.
Shame.
Like I have the disc when Blockbuster was going out of business.
Kept
But
it.
I also got like 40 other ones, so there's a huge list that I have not worked through at all.
Put this at the very top of that stack, Justin. I implore you.
I can do that. I really wanted to watch it when it came out, and then I just didn't get around to it in time. It slipped. But going off of absolutely nothing, I'm gonna say Steve Buscemi.
Okay, Justin saves Steve Buscemi. Amanda, what do you say?
I'm also saying Steve Buscemi.
Okay, 2 for Steve Buscemi, and 2 different pronunciations already, maybe 3.
Yeah,
Julian,
who
what do you
knows?
say?
He lives in our neighborhood.
Oh wow, go
Yeah.
So,
go to your window right now and scream out, Steve. Are
So-
you
Actually,
where the wild things are?
I have friends who have
Is
another
it
podcast.
Buscemi?
I think it's
Say your last
Buscemi,
name.
actually. But okay, so I have friends who have a podcast called Stand and Watch, a dad movie podcast. And I was on their episode for men. And for whatever reason, we started a thing on, I think it's because we started talking about Con Air. So now every time they have an episode, they just go, "Hi, Steve," for Steve Buscemi, because I started it on the episode.
Steve Buscemi really does live in our neighborhood, and on Halloween he will hand out candy,
Yes,
but he
in
wears
costume.
he wears a mask, so he just gets a level of anonymity and gets to give out candy to the neighborhood kids.
Oh, very cool. The whole Filmwar crew is going to be heading out for your Halloween this year. So, Julian, which one are you saying?
I'll go with our friend and neighbor Steve Buscemi.
Okay, now George, you have watched The Studio, right? So, how do you actually say his name?
Buscemi.
Buscemi. Okay, and what is your answer?
Steve Buscemi.
Stellar work. You guys all get a point. It was Steve Buscemi. Buscemi. Buscemi.
Buscemi's kind of cool.
Yeah, this one
Buscemi.
I actually knew he was not in this movie. Mark Ruffalo, we like to use this as one of Mark Ruffalo's deep cuts on Cinematrix or film movie grid.
Yeah, barely in it. He plays the
Boyfriend.
potential boyfriend. Yeah. Okay, everybody got a point for that. Must have been too easy. Maybe a harder one then. Here is a film from 2009, Public Enemies. And here are your 3 actors. Julianne Moore, Channing Tatum, and Carey Mulligan. 2 of these actors are actually in Public Enemies. One of them is not. Who is not, Julian?
I think that Julianne Moore is not in Public Enemies.
Okay, Julian's saying Julianne Moore. Justin, what do you say?
Carey Mulligan.
Okay. Justin is saying Carey Mulligan was not in Public Enemies. George, what do you say?
Ugh, I'm going to split up here. I'm going to go with Channing Tatum.
Okay, George is saying Channing Tatum. And Amanda, what do you say?
I also think it's Julianne Moore.
Okay, both members of Swayze Hearts are saying Julianne Moore, and they both get a point for it. Julianne Moore was not in Public Enemies. Way to
We
I
need
know
more
my
points.
Julianne Moore.
I didn't care for this movie. What about you guys? You didn't see it?
No. I did not. This was not a great one.
Yeah, stacked cast, a lot of prestige. Didn't give a shit about it.
I didn't really remember Channing Tatum from it. I knew Carey Mulligan was in it, but I just did not recall this as a Julianne Moore movie. So
There you go. Get a point for it. All right, we have one last film in The Imposter, and that is from 2002, The Count of Monte Cristo. Here are 3 actors for you. Henry Cavill, Luis Guzman, and Juliana Margulies. 2 of these actors are actually in Count of Monte Cristo. One of them was not. Let's start with George.
I'm going to be honest, I've not watched this. So we're just going to roll the dice here. Luis
I saw this in the theater, and I do believe might have been my first hand job.
That's a good story.
Amanda, I saw this
Mazel
movie in
tov.
Scott's basement. It was not my first hand job.
It was your second.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Luis Guzman.
Okay, George is saying Luis Guzman. Julian, what do you say?
I'm going with Juliana Margulies.
Okay. Julian saying Juliana Margulies. Amanda, what do you say?
Luis Guzman.
Okay, and Justin, what do you say?
Let's go with Henry.
Justin saying Henry Cavill was not in Count of Monte Cristo. Everybody said a different answer. Julian gets the point, though. Juliana Margulies was not in Count of Monte Cristo. As another point, Team Swayze Hearts total.
Henry Cavill was the only one I knew was in that movie.
Who does he play in it?
Oh, I have
You
no
know?
idea. I just know
Yeah,
he's
okay.
in it. I just know that I've seen it on his IMDb. He's also in
What
Hellraiser
was it?
8.
Every 18 months, there's been a movie adaptation of The Count of Monte Cristo
Right.
for like decades. We just can't leave that property alone.
Same with
Public
Macbeth, which
domain.
we've talked about on the show before. There are 1,000 movies based on Macbeth called Macbeth.
Mackie
Stop
B.
Yeah, we don't need it anymore. All right, at the end of Imposter, Team Swayze Hearts has taken the lead, 13-11. Team Now I'm talking about has 11. There you go. Going into our next game.
This game is called sequeling.
This is sequeling. One member from each team will give their team member the name of a film that has no sequel. Their partner must then craft a plot for a sequel to that named film. I will judge each sequel pitch and award up to 5 points. So I need a person from Team Swayze Hearts to choose a film that has no sequel, and then their partner is going to try to craft a plot to it.
Amanda, do you want to choose the film, or do you
I
want
have a
to?
movie in mind if you want to.
Oh, if you have a movie in mind, yeah.
And I know you've seen it because we watched it together. I was going to say Malignant.
Oof. So, Julian, I need to hear a plot for a sequel to Malignant. I kind of remember how it ends. I hope you do remember how it ends.
You know, how this movie ends precisely is less important than delivering on the best unrealized sequel that never happened. It has to go to Triplets, where, if you remember the conceit of Twins, it's that, I know where Amanda's going with this. You know, it's Schwarzenegger and DeVito. Obviously, DeVito is the genetic junk of Schwarzenegger. And for years, the joke was that if they were to make a sequel to it, it would be Triplets, where
with Eddie Murphy. Yeah, we actually just spoke about this on the show, I think 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so synchronicity, guys.
So considering Malignant feels like a movie where it's hard to imagine how you can get any crazier, well, what if there's a third entity within the body? And what if it's a combination of all three actors who should have done Triplets together, and this combination Schwartz Murphy veto goes on its own killing spree using the sly, street smart witticisms of Danny DeVito, the killer body instincts of Schwarzenegger, and Eddie Murphy's there too.
Comic relief.
Yeah. He can sing some little songs to lighten the mood.
Oh my God.
And of course, I happen to think that Malignant is more in the. I laughed more than I was afraid, so I feel like this is genre-wise really in line with exactly what the sequel needs.
Okay,
and for a title, we're going to call it Three-Lignant.
Perfect title. Now, is it? From what I remember, the first one, it's in a girl's body, right? It's her twin that hasn't been born yet, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now, is this also take place inside the same girl, or is this picking up with a new girl or a new character, a new guy?
I just like the idea there was a secret third thing in this body.
Okay. So it is the same girl. It's just this is another harrowing tale in her journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a parasitic twin on her parasitic
Right.
twin.
So
Yeah,
which the third
it's
parasitic
like
twin
it's
is
like a bad wig on the parasitic twin on top of the bad wig.
Now, does the second parasitic twin, not the one that's the three of them, how does he feel about that third one once he becomes aware of it?
I mean, those guys, they seem like they're fun to spend some time with. I think they're all gonna vibe. Let's be honest. They're gonna balance each other out.
So he's just like, come on in, more the merrier. Okay. I'm gonna give Three-Legged It 4 points out of 5. Which, as your rivals here will tell you, it's a high score. Not too many people get 4 points. So, George, Justin, you guys are kind of seasoned veterans at this point. So, who wants to come up with the movie?
I guess I'll come up with the movie.
Okay, George.
Go for it.
So
Pick something you know I know.
Okay, so it has to be a movie that has no sequel.
Oh, okay. Searching. Sorry, most things I see are
Searching, the film about the web browser movie. Is that what
I
you're
don't know
saying?
what that is.
All right. Sorry, I took the gun.
Okay. Justin, I'm going to just throw one at you. Just the first thing that came to mind, and I'm sorry. The Passion of the Christ.
Aren't they making a sequel?
They are. So we've got a
There's no
very
sequel.
tight window because they are making a sequel to it, but they haven't made it yet. It is not released. So Justin, fill in that gap.
Justin, write this thing.
Obviously, feel free to edit out anything that's going to get you canceled or in trouble. Definitely anything that's going to get me canceled or in trouble.
So what you're saying is it's going to stop right here. We're just going to jump to after your pick.
Just cut to the point.
Okay. Nawmnawmawt.
No. Okay, so he's died. Huge bummer. Came back though.
So it's an Easter tale.
Yeah, he came back. He's fine now. Everything's cool. Except he is pissed. He was not happy about being killed. They don't really talk about that much in the Bible. They don't ask him how he felt about being killed. He didn't enjoy it. So now the sequel is him hunting down the Romans that set him up and put him in the position that he was in. It's very thrilling. He's, obviously got his magic powers he can draw on to make some really, really cool assassinations. And yeah, it's hour and a half, 2 hours. It's probably not going to be too long, but I could definitely watch him going around seeking his revenge for that long.
All right, and how does it end? Just give me an ending.
It ends, he finds the last one, and we'll say it's Judas, just, because that's the one everybody knows. He's going to be the big bad.
Right.
Finds him, getting ready to stab him with a spear right in the chest, and looks up, dramatically throws the spear away, turns the other cheek to the camera, walks off into the distance. Roll credits. Passion of the Christ 2. Two Christ, too passionate.
I love the title. I love this title.
Can I see just a little acting work from you? Can you show me the turning of the cheek?
Yeah. So he's very intense. And he walks off.
Yeah, savor that moment.
Brutal.
4 points. I'm going to give you 4 points.
I'll take it.
Good job. Yep.
Way to carry that cross, Justin.
'Twas mine to bear.
So we leave sequeling basically where we started. You guys are Team Swayze Hearts has 2 points over Team. I'm talking about 17-15. We have one last game to play. Each team has 6 points up for grabs, so still anybody's game.
This game is called Multiverse Theater.
I will name a director or an actor in 3 projects they were set to make at one time, but the project fell apart before the film could be made. 2 of these projects are true, bona fide, unrealized projects, but one of them is fake. I just came up with it. If you can tell me which project was never considered, you will add a point to your team's total. Everybody's going to get the answer for all these. Our first multiverse theater is Chris Farley. Hope you guys are well-versed with his work. Here are 3 projects he may or may not have wanted to make. Dazed and Confused, an adaptation of John Kennedy Toole's A Confederacy of Dunces with a cable guy. He was going to star in 2 of these projects, but it never came to be. Which one is the fake one, George?
The middle one, Confederacy of Dunces.
Okay, George is saying the adaptation of John Kennedy Toole's A Confederacy of Dunces is the fake project. Amanda, what do you think?
Dazed and Confused.
Amanda's saying Dazed.
Linklater project. Linklater is very specific about his stuff. I'm going to go with Dazed and Confused.
All right, Amanda's saying Dazed and Confused. Julian, what do you say?
I feel like he would have solved a lot of the problems I have with the cable guy.
You have problems with the cable guy? There's perfect film for frame 1.
There's some tone issues. I'm not seeing the part for him in Dazed and Confused. I'm going with Dazed and Confused.
Okay, Julian is agreeing with Amanda, saying Dazed and Confused. Justin, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with my teammate and go with the Confederacy of Dunces.
Okay, both team members of Team what I'm talking about are saying Confederacy of Dunces, and both team members of Team Swayze Hearts are saying Dazed and Confused. And Team Swayze Hearts adds to their lead. Dazed and Confused was the fake project.
I knew he was supposed to do Cable Guy. Didn't he die? And that's why
I knew he was always rumored for Confederacy of Dunces.
Yeah, that one, it tracks. Dazed and Confused makes no sense for him. It's Linklater. Where is he in the Linklater project?
Confederacy of Dunces has been almost every comedic actor that's died an early death has at one point been connected to a Confederacy of Dunces besides Will Ferrell. Never got that curse, I guess.
So don't ever connect to it. Is the
do not ever even think about acting in a Confederacy of Dunces movie. It's never going to be made, and it might kill you. Okay, our next multiverse theater is Ron Howard. Here are 3 projects he may or may not have wanted to make. An adaptation of Spy vs. Spy, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, or an adaptation of the comic book Men in Black that eventually became the film Men in Black. Which one of these projects is fake, Amanda?
I'm going to go with Men in Black.
All right, Amanda is saying Ron Howard was never attached to Men in Black. Julian, what do you think?
I tend to agree. I have some theories by the other ones that'll hold back. But yeah, no, I definitely don't think he was ever attached to Men in Black.
Okay, both members of Team Swayze Hearts are saying Men in Black was not a real project Ron Howard ever considered. Justin, what do you think?
I also think Men in Black.
Justin agreeing with the other team, saying Men in Black. George, what do you think?
I will follow suit. Men in Black.
Every single contestant is saying Men in Black was not a real Ron Howard project, and they all get a point for it across the board. He was never considered for Men in Black. We have one last multiverse theater, and we start with Brian De Palma. We're going to end with Brian De Palma. Here are 3 projects that Brian De Palma may or may not have been connected to. Paranormal Activity 2, The Truman Show, and a biopic of Bill and Hillary Clinton. One of these projects was never on his radar. Which one was it, George?
Paranormal Activity 2.
George is saying Paranormal Activity 2 was never on his radar. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, give me Paranormal Activity.
Okay, both members of Team... No, talk. Both members of Team... No, what I mean? I don't even remember what it is now. Just what is it called? What's your team name?
Nawmnawmawt.
Both members of Team Nawmnawmawt are saying that Paranormal Activity 2 was not a project that he ever considered. What does Team Swayze Hearts say? Let's start with Amanda.
I'm also leaning towards Paranormal Activity 2. I could see him doing the Truman Show. I could see him doing a Clinton biopic.
Okay, Amanda is also saying Paranormal Activity 2, agreeing with the other team. Julian, the last answer for the night. What do you say?
Oh, boy. I mean, I feel like it's either there to trick, but why would he have only gotten involved with number 2? I don't want to... I mean, I could really see in this original pitch him going to the Truman Show, where it just follows Truman for like a year. And it really lines up with his zeitgeist of trying to come back, maybe wanting to do something about the Clintons. But yeah, if Paranormal Activity 1 was here, maybe, but 2, I'm not going to fight the wisdom of the crowds. I'm going with number 2.
Okay, everybody, all the contestants are saying Paranormal Activity 2 is not a project that Brian De Palma ever considered, and they're wrong. It was a project he considered. He never considered the Clinton biopic. Paranormal Activity 2, the first one was an independent film made by the original director. He made it in his house. And then when it hit, they really started looking at other directors to make the second one. And he was on the very short list to make it. So there you go. That is the end of our game. We do have a winner, Team Swayze Hearts. 21 points to Team Not Talking About 17. You guys are taking home To Die For.
Good job, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
George, the hunt continues, baby.
We'll get there.
You'll get there. You'll get there. You'll get there. Okay, that's all for Filmwar. We have a new champion. All hail Amanda Jane Stern and Julian Seltzer, Team Swayze Hearts. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're honored to play.
They're taking home a copy of To Die For on VHS. You're going to have to cut that son of a bitch in half. And are moving into the second round.
We live in the same place. So.
No, you will cut it in half. They are also moving into the second round of Team War, joining Team Lamplighter, Jordan and Dalton from our first episode. We will have one other episode of Team War to add a third team to that finale. Check out for that. Follow us on Bluesky at Filmwar. View our full video episodes at youtube.com/@Filmwar, at thefilmwar.com. Rate us, share us, kiss us, thrill us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Amanda and Julian, how can people find you in Perfectly Good Moment?
I am on Instagram and Bluesky at Amanda Jane Stern, and I'm on Letterboxd at Witchy Wanderer. You can find Perfectly Good Moment on Instagram at Perfectly Good Moment. And you can also find its Letterboxd and IMDb pages.
I'm at Instagram and Bluesky also at Julian Seltzer, and I'm also on Letterboxd as Julian Seltzer. You could probably find me walking around Brooklyn taking photos of trash as well. Yeah.
All right.
I'm not kidding about that last one.
So if you want to talk to Julian, you find him in person. All right, team, now I'm talking about any last words, guys, before we end things.
It was a
Nawmnawmawt.
Yeah, it's a humbling defeat. We left it out on the field. You know, I feel good about our performance tonight. Just got outplayed.
You let the outsiders into the finale.
You guys pitched a good sequel.
Oh yeah. Hey, they were in the lead for the first 2 or 3 games.
You guys absolutely won it. Yeah.
Well, that's probably like the best I've ever done thus far. So I'm pretty happy.
Actually, I can answer that right now, George. Give me a second. This is the most points you've ever had. You had 15 points in episode 50, but this is the most points you've ever brought home.
See, only up from here. We just keep getting better.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Godspeed.
A 1,000-yard stare production.